Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the show. My name is Brad. This is Firefighters Financial Toolbox. One of the cool things about doing this channel is I get a lot of questions from people about different subjects. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Ally Bank, and I have been with them for about 8 or 9 years now. Not exactly sure, but a long time. I have their online savings account. I have a checking account with them. I also have a money market account with them. I also use Ally Invest for part of my investment, part of my brokerage account. Now, I'm not sponsored by Ally, so please get that understanding. But I had a viewer ask a question about whether they would be charged if they were to take money out of their Ally account if they traveled abroad. In this case, the person was going to Mexico. And I actually honestly didn't know because I've never had to do that. So I decided to look into it. So I went to the Ally page. Actually, you guys, I Googled, does Ally charge for abroad account usage? So anyway, what you should know about spending abroad. When it comes to spending money abroad, ignorance can be bliss. Unfortunately, it can also be expensive. That's why you should be up on how much your trip will actually cost you when it comes to financial fees and exchange rates. As you budget your overseas vacation, keep the following in mind. First of all, the exchange rate, you guys. Now, this is going to be different wherever you travel, right? Obviously, the exchange rate in Europe for euros is different than the exchange rate for pesos in Mexico. Okay, so of course, per travel 101, you know that the countries you travel to have their own currencies. But will you remember to factor them into when you would budget your vacation? Of course, you guys, you should know about what the current exchange rate is. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get that exchange rate everywhere you go, but it'll give you an idea of example. If the Mexican peso is 20 to the American dollar, you know if they're only going to give you 10, they're giving you a really terrible rate. All right, so let's start there. Start by going to an online currency converter and get the exchange rate between the US dollar and the currency of the country you're visiting. Then find out how much things cost at your destination. You can ask someone at your hotel or the tourism bureau, or you can do some research on the web. If an average restaurant meal there costs 40 euros per person, you're actually spending about $52 based on the exchange rates when they went to press. Now that obviously changes from time to time, and it would translate to almost $65 if you were talking about the British pound. So, know first of all that exchange rates change all the time. But here's my question. What about what it costs to take my money out? Are there fees? The transaction fee. Many credit cards will add a transaction fee, typically around 3% to all overseas purchases. So remember that a €100 sweater you want to buy will actually cost you 103 euros. Check to see if your credit card charges that fee. If it does, consider applying for a card that doesn't. Obviously, if you're someone who doesn't travel that much, that might not be a thing. The currency at which you're billed. When paying by credit, always ask the merchant to bill you at the local currency. If the merchant chooses to bill you in dollars instead, he could conceivably choose any exchange rate that he or she wants. Your credit card issuer, on the other hand, will stick to the official exchange rate. So let's talk about the cost of withdrawal. It's smart to have local currency on hand when visiting other countries. Since not all merchants accept credit cards or American dollars, keep in mind that you may have to withdraw cash from ATMs. You'll most likely have to pay the withdrawal fee if there's an ATM fee there. You'll typically have to pay an additional 3 to 8% when you withdraw funds overseas. Ally, though, only charges a fee of up to 1% of the transaction amount for the currency conversion and or cross-border transactions. So I take that to understand if I took out $100 from an ATM, Ally would charge me $1. If you guys know this to be different, please put it in the comments. The wild cards. Depending on where you're going, you may be faced with unexpected costs. For instance, in some countries, restaurants won't serve you tap water but will charge you a premium for bottled water. Again, contact your hotel or the Tourism Bureau and attempt to uncover such surprise cost. Do transaction fees influence you when you're choosing vacation destinations? What's your strategy for cash overseas? I guess in answer to his question, and we'll call him Bill, that's not his real name, but Bill, in answer to your question, it appears that Ally will charge you 1% of your total transaction fee or total transaction if you withdraw money from Ally Bank overseas. Now, I take that to also mean that if the ATM has local fees, you'll probably be responsible for those as well. So take that into mind when you're taking money out. But first of all, I appreciate the question. I had never thought about it. Even though I've been with Ally for a long time, I primarily use them for my online savings and my brokerage account. So even though I have a small checking account with them, I've never had to take money out overseas. And so I honestly didn't know the answer to the question. So I appreciate you asking the question, you guys. If you have other questions out there, please do me a favor. Ask them. It gives me good ideas for shows to make. All right. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, you guys know the deal. Hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot.